Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare. Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare, Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna
Ram 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 Hare Hare Hare
Hare
Krishna Hare
Hare
Krishna
Ram
Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Ram
Hare,
Hare Ram 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 Hare 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 Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Hare Ram Ram
Hare
Ram Hare
Ram
Hare Hare Ram Hare Ram 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 Hare 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 Ram
Hare Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram
Hare
Hare,
Krishna
Hare
Krishna Krishna Hare
Hare
Hare Hare Ram Hare Ram 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 Hare 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 Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Hare Ram 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Hare Ram
Hare Ram Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare,
Hare
Hare
Krishna 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 Hare Hare Ram 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 Hare Hare Hare
Ram
Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Hare Ram
Hare
Krishna
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 Hare
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 Hare,
Ram
Hare
Hare Ram Ram
Ram
Hare Hare Hare
Ram
Krishna
Ram
Krishna
Hare,
Krishna Hare Hare Ram
Hare
Ram
Krishna
Ram Hare 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 Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Hare,
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna,
Hare
Krishna
Krishna,
Krishna,
Hare Krishna,
Hare
Krishna
Hare,
Krishna, Hare
Hare
Hare,
Ram, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Ram, Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare,
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna,
Hare
Ram
Krishna,
Ram
Krishna
Ram, Hare
Krishna,
Hare,
Hare
Hare Krishna,
Hare,
Hare
Hare
Krishna, Krishna
Ram,
Krishna,
Hare
Ram
Ram,
Ram,
Ram
Hare
Ram,
Hare,
Hare Hare,
Hare Krishna, Hare
Hare
Krishna, Krishna
Krishna,
Krishna,
Hare
Hare
Krishna,
Ram
Krishna
Ram,
Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare
Hare
Hare,
Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna
Hare
Krishna, Ram
Krishna,
Ram,
Hare
Hare
Krishna,
Hare,
Krishna
Hare
Krishna,
Krishna,
Hare
Krishna
Hare,
Krishna,
Hare
Ram Ram,
Ram,
Ram
Hare
Hare
Ram, Ram
Hare, Hare
Ram,
Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Ram
Hare
Ram,
Krishna,
Ram
Hare
Hare Hare,
Krishna,
Hare Krishna, Hare
Krishna
Krishna,
Krishna,
Krishna
Hare
Krishna,
Hare,
Ram Ram, Ram Hare Hare,
Ram,
Hare
Ram,
Krishna, Hare
Ram,
Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Ram
Hare
Ram,
Krishna,
Ram Hare
Hare
Hare,
Krishna,
Hare Krishna,
Krishna
Krishna
Krishna,
Krishna,
Hare
Ram
Hare,
Ram, Ram Hare Hare,
Ram, 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 Hare Hare,
Hare
Hare
Krishna, Hare
Krishna,
Krishna,
Hare
Krishna
Krishna,
Krishna, Hare
Krishna
Hare, Ram
Krishna,
Ram,
Hare
Ram
Hare,
Hare
Hare
Hare, Hare
Ram,
Krishna,
Hare
Hare Krishna,
Ram,
Ram
Ram
Ram,
Ram,
Hare
Hare Hare,
Hare, Hare
Hare
Krishna, Krishna
Krishna,
Krishna,
Hare
Ram Ram,
Krishna,
Ram Hare Hare,
Krishna,
Hare
Hare
Krishna,
Hare,
Hare Krishna, Krishna
Hare
Krishna,
Ram,
Ram
Hare
Ram,
Ram, Ram Ram, Hare
Hare
Hare,
Krishna,
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna,
Hare
Krishna
Krishna, Hare
Krishna,
Krishna,
Hare
Krishna
Hare,
Krishna,
Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare
Hare
Krishna,
Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Ram, Ram
Hare
Ram,
Ram,
Hare
Hare
Krishna,
Ram,
Hare
Ram
Krishna,
Ram,
Krishna
Hare
Hare
Hare,
Ram, Ram
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna,
Hare
Krishna
Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna
Hare
Krishna,
Hare,
Ram Ram,
Hare
Hare
Ram, Hare
Krishna,
Ram,
Krishna Krishna,
Ram
Ram
Ram,
Hare Hare, Ram
Hare
Ram,
Krishna,
Hare Hare,
Hare
Hare
Krishna,
Krishna,
Krishna
Hare Krishna, Krishna
Krishna,
Krishna,
Ram, Hare
Ram
Ram,
Hare
Ram
Krishna,
Ram,
Krishna
Hare
Krishna,
Hare,
Ram
Hare
Hare
Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna
Hare
Krishna,
Krishna,
Hare
Hare
Hare,
Krishna, Krishna Krishna,
Ram,
Ram
Ram,
Hare Hare,
Ram,
Hare
Ram,
Krishna,
Hare
Krishna
Hare,
Krishna, Ram
Hare
Ram,
Krishna, Hare
Hare
Krishna,
Krishna, Krishna
Krishna
Krishna,
Krishna,
Krishna
Hare Hare,
Ram
Hare
Hare
Ram, Hare
Hare Krishna,
Ram,
Hare
Ram
Krishna, Krishna
Ram,
Krishna,
Hare
Ram
Hare,
Ram, Hare
Hare
Hare, Hare
Krishna,
Krishna,
Hare
Krishna
Krishna,
Krishna,
Krishna
Ram
Krishna,
Hare
Hare
Hare,
Hare,
Hare
Hare
Krishna,
Ram,
Krishna
Hare
Krishna,
Ram,
Ram
Ram
Hare Hare,
Ram, Hare
Hare
Hare,
Krishna, Hare Krishna,
Hare
Krishna
Krishna,
Krishna,
Hare
Ram
Krishna,
Ram,
Krishna
Hare Hare,
Krishna,
Krishna
Hare
Krishna,
Hare,
Ram
Hare
Ram,
Ram,
Ram
Hare
Hare
Ram,
Hare,
Ram
Hare Krishna,
Ram,
Krishna
Hare
Krishna,
Hare,
Ram Ram,
Hare
Hare Hare,
Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna
Hare
Krishna,
Krishna, Hare
Hare
Krishna,
Hare,
Krishna Krishna,
Hare
Ram Ram,
Ram, Hare Ram,
Hare Krishna,
Ram
Krishna
Ram,
Krishna,
Hare
Ram
Hare,
Ram, Hare Hare,
Hare Krishna, Hare
Hare
Krishna,
Krishna,
Krishna
Ram
Krishna,
Hare
Hare Hare, Hare
Krishna,
Ram,
Krishna
Hare
Krishna,
Ram,
Ram
Ram Ram, Hare Hare,
Krishna, Krishna Krishna,
Hare
Ram Hare
Krishna, Hare Krishna,
Hare
Krishna
Krishna,
Krishna,
Hare
Hare
Krishna,
Hare,
Krishna Krishna, Hare
Hare
Hare, Ram
Ram,
Hare
Hare
Ram,
Ram,
Ram
Ram
Hare
Ram,
Krishna,
Hare
Krishna
Hare,
Krishna, Krishna
Hare
Hare Ram,
Krishna,
Ram
Hare
Ram Hare
Krishna,
Hare,
Krishna
Hare
Krishna,
Krishna,
Hare
Hare
Hare,
Krishna, Krishna
Hare
Krishna,
Ram,
Ram
Hare
Hare
Ram,
Hare,
Ram Ram, Hare Hare,
Ram
Hare
Ram
Krishna,
Hare
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare,
Hare
Hare
Krishna, Hare Krishna,
Ram,
Krishna
Hare
Krishna,
Ram,
Ram
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 Ram,
Hare
Hare
Hare,
Hare,
Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna
Hare
Krishna,
Krishna,
Ram
Hare
Ram
Krishna,
Hare
Krishna
Hare,
Krishna,
Hare
Hare Hare,
Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna
Hare
Krishna, Ram
Ram, Hare Ram, Ram
Hare
Ram,
Krishna,
Hare Hare,
Krishna Krishna,
Hare
Ram
Krishna,
Ram
Hare
Hare Hare,
Krishna, Krishna
Hare
Krishna,
Krishna, Hare
Hare
Krishna,
Hare,
Krishna Krishna,
Hare
Ram
Ram,
Ram
Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna,
Hare
Hare
Krishna, Hare
Krishna,
Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Ram Ram Hare Hare,
Hare
Hare Krishna,
Ram,
Krishna
Hare
Krishna,
Ram,
Hare
Ram
Hare,
Ram,
Hare
Hare
Hare, Krishna, Hare
Hare,
Krishna,
Hare
Krishna Hare
Krishna,
Hare,
Krishna
Hare Ram,
Krishna,
Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare,
Hare
Krishna, Hare
Ram,
Krishna,
Hare
Krishna
Ram,
Krishna,
Ram
Ram
Ram,
Ram,
Hare
Hare
Hare,
Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Ram Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Ram Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Krishna Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Ram Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Ram Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, राम 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 हरे कृष्ण 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 राम 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 हरे हरे
राम राम हरे हरे
हरे कृष्ण 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम राम हरे 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 कृष्ण 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 राम राम हरे 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 कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे राम राम हरे हरे
हरे कृष्ण कृष्ण कृष्ण
हरे
हरे
कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे कृष्ण राम राम हरे हरे
हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे हरे
नमः
हरे
शिवाय कृष्ण कृष्ण कृष्ण
राम
हरे
राम
राम
हरे हरे
कृष्ण कृष्ण
हरे
कृष्ण
कृष्ण
राम
कृष्ण
राम
कृष्ण
कृष्ण
हरे
कृष्ण राम प्रचारि
राम
विशेष कृष्ण दिष्टन विष्णु विष्णु तंत्र बोले
हरे कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे हरे
राम हरे हरे कृष्ण 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 राम
हरे
राम
हरे
राम हरे हरे
हरे
कृष्ण
राम
कृष्ण
राम
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 राम हरे हरे
राम
हरे कृष्ण कृष्ण कृष्ण
हरे कृष्ण
राम
हरे कृष्ण
राम
हरे
राम
राम
हरे
हरे
हरे कृष्ण
राम
कृष्ण
राम
कृष्ण
हरे हरे
राम राम हरे
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 कृष्ण
हरे
हरे
कृष्ण कृष्ण
कृष्ण
कृष्ण
कृष्ण
राम
कृष्ण
राम
हरे
राम हरे हरे हरे
हरे
कृष्ण
राम
कृष्ण कृष्ण राम राम हरे हरे कृष्ण कृष्ण
हरे
कृष्ण
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 हरे
राम राम हरे हरे
हरे
हरे
हरे
कृष्ण
राम
हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे
हरे
राम 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 हरे
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 कृष्ण
कृष्ण
हरे
कृष्ण
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 राम
हरे
राम हरे
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 राम
हरे कृष्ण कृष्ण
राम
कृष्ण
राम
हरे
हरे
हरे हरे राम राम हरे हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे
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 राम
राम राम हरे
राम
हरे
राम
हरे
हरे
हरे कृष्ण कृष्ण कृष्ण
हरे
हरे
कृष्ण
राम हरे हरे कृष्ण कृष्ण कृष्ण
हरे
कृष्ण
राम
राम हरे हरे
हरे हरे कृष्ण
हरे
हरे
कृष्ण 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 राम हरे हरे
राम
कृष्ण कृष्ण कृष्ण
राम राम
हरे हरे
हरे
कृष्ण
कृष्ण
कृष्ण हरे 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 राम हरे हरे कृष्ण
राम
कृष्ण कृष्ण कृष्ण
राम
हरे
राम
राम हरे
हरे
कृष्ण
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 हरे
कृष्ण
कृष्ण
कृष्ण हरे
कृष्ण
हरे
कृष्ण
हरे
हरे
राम
हरे हरे राम हरे राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्ण 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 हरे हरे हरे
हरे
राम
कृष्ण कृष्ण कृष्ण
राम
कृष्ण हरे
राम
हरे राम हरे 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 कृष्ण
हरे
कृष्ण हरे हरे राम
हरे
हरे हरे
राम
हरे कृष्ण
राम राम
कृष्ण
राम
कृष्ण हरे हरे हरे
हरे
राम
कृष्ण
हरे 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 कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे 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 राम हरे 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 कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम हरे 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 कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे 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 राम हरे 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 कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे हरे राम हरे 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 कृष्ण हरे 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 राम हरे 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 कृष्ण कृष्ण राम हरे 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 कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे हरे राम हरे हरे
कृष्ण हरे कृष्ण कृष्ण
राम
कृष्ण
हरे
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 हरे हरे राम राम राम
हरे
हरे
कृष्ण 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 हरे हरे राम हरे 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 कृष्ण 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 राम हरे 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 कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे हरे राम हरे 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 कृष्ण 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 हरे हरे राम हरे 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 कृष्ण कृष्ण राम हरे 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 कृष्ण कृष्ण राम हरे 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 कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे हरे राम हरे 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 कृष्ण हरे हरे राम हरे हरे
हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे हरे हरे
हरे
राम
कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे राम हरे हरे कृष्ण राम हरे हरे कृष्ण कृष्ण राम हरे 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 कृष्ण राम हरे 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 कृष्ण हरे राम हरे 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 कृष्ण हरे राम हरे कृष्ण हरे हरे राम हरे 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 कृष्ण हरे राम हरे 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 कृष्ण हरे राम हरे हरे कृष्ण हरे हरे राम हरे कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे हरे कृष्ण हरे
कृष्ण
हरे
कृष्ण हरे
कृष्ण
हरे हरे
कृष्ण
राम
हरे हरे राम हरे हरे कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे
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 कृष्ण
राम
कृष्ण हरे 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 राम राम राम
हरे
हरे
हरे कृष्ण
हरे
हरे हरे
कृष्ण कृष्ण कृष्ण
राम
हरे
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 कृष्ण हरे हरे
राम राम
हरे
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 हरे कृष्ण हरे
हरे
कृष्ण
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 कृष्ण हरे हरे
राम 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 हरे
कृष्ण
हरे कृष्ण
हरे
कृष्ण कृष्ण
कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे
हरे राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे 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 राम राम हरे हरे
हरे
हरे
कृष्ण
कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे हरे हरे
कृष्ण
राम राम हरे हरे
हरे कृष्ण
हरे कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे हरे हरे
हरे
राम हरे 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 कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम राम हरे 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 कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम हरे 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 कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम राम हरे 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 कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna Krishna Krishna
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Ram Ram, Hare Hare,
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna Krishna Krishna
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna 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 Ram Ram
Hare
Ram Ram.
Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Rama Rama, Rama
Hare
Hare Hare.
Krishna
Hare Krishna,
Krishna
Hare Krishna,
Krishna
Krishna
Hare
Krishna,
Hare.
Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna Hare 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 Ram
Hare
Hare
Krishna,
Ram
Hare Krishna,
Ram
Krishna
Ram
Krishna, Hare
Hare
Hare,
Hare.
Rama,
Hare
Rama
Krishna
Hare
Hare
Hare. Hare
Krishna
Krishna,
Krishna
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 Krishna,
Hare
Hare
Hare.
Hare,
Hare
Rama
Ram Hare Ram
Hare
Ram
Krishna,
Ram
Krishna
Hare
Hare
Hare.
Rama,
Hare
Hare Hare.
Krishna
Hare
Hare
Krishna,
Krishna
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Rama,
Hare
Rama
Ram
Hare
Hare
Hare. Hare
Ram
Krishna, Hare
Ram
Krishna,
Ram
Krishna Krishna,
Hare
Hare
Hare.
Hare, Rama,
Hare
Rama
Krishna
Hare
Hare
Hare. Hare
Krishna
Krishna,
Krishna
Hare Krishna, Krishna
Krishna
Krishna,
Hare
Hare
Hare.
Hare, Rama,
Hare
Rama
Ram
Hare
Hare
Hare. Hare
Ram
Krishna, Hare
Ram
Krishna, Krishna
Ram
Krishna,
Hare
Hare
Hare.
Hare. Hare
Hare
Rama, Hare Rama,
Hare
Rama Rama,
Krishna
Hare
Krishna
Hare. Hare
Krishna
Krishna,
Hare
Hare
Hare.
Krishna, Krishna
Hare
Krishna,
Ram
Hare
Hare
Hare.
Ram
Hare
Ram
Rama, Hare
Ram
Rama,
Hare
Rama
Hare.
Hare Hare. Hare
Hare
Krishna, Hare
Krishna
Krishna, Krishna
Krishna
Krishna,
Krishna
Hare
Krishna.
Hare. Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama
Hare
Rama, Hare
Ram
Hare.
Hare
Hare
Ram
Krishna, Hare
Ram
Krishna,
Ram
Krishna
Hare
Krishna,
Hare.
Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Hare
Hare
Rama, Rama Rama,
Hare
Hare
Rama,
Hare.
Hare Rama,
Hare
Rama Rama,
Krishna,
Hare Hare.
Krishna Krishna,
Hare
Hare
Krishna, Hare
Hare.
Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare Krishna Hare Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Hare Krishna Krishna Hare Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Hare Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Hare Krishna Krishna Hare Hare Rama Rama Hare 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 Krishna Hare Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama Rama Hare 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 Krishna Hare Krishna Krishna Hare Hare Rama Rama Hare 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 Krishna Hare Krishna Krishna Hare Hare Rama Rama Hare 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 Krishna Hare Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama Rama Hare 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 Krishna Hare Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama Rama Hare 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 Krishna Hare Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama Rama Hare 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 Krishna Hare Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama Hare Hare
Ram Hare Hare Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare
Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare Ram Hare Hare
Hare Rama Hare Hare Krishna Hare Rama Hare Hare Krishna Hare Krishna Krishna Hare Rama Hare 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 Krishna Hare Krishna Krishna Hare Hare Rama Hare 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 Krishna Hare Krishna Krishna Hare Hare Rama Hare 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 Krishna Hare Krishna Krishna Hare Hare Rama Hare 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 Krishna Hare Krishna Krishna Hare Hare Rama Hare 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 Krishna Hare Krishna Krishna Hare Hare Rama Hare 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 Krishna Hare Krishna Krishna Hare Hare Rama Hare 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 Krishna Hare Krishna Krishna Hare Hare Rama Hare 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 Krishna Hare Krishna Krishna Hare Hare Rama Hare जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर शिवसादि गौरभक्त वृंद हरे कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे हरे राम राम हरे हरे कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे हरे राम राम हरे हरे कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे हरे राम राम हरे हरे कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे राम हरे हरे कृष्ण हरे हरे राम राम हरे हरे कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे हरे राम राम हरे हरे कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे हरे राम हरे 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 कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे हरे राम राम हरे 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 कृष्ण हरे राम हरे 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 कृष्ण कृष्ण
Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare
हरे कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे हरे राम हरे 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 कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे हरे राम राम हरे हरे कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे हरे राम हरे 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 कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे राम हरे 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 कृष्ण हरे राम हरे हरे कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे राम हरे 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 कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे 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 हरे राम हरे 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 कृष्ण हरे राम हरे 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 कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे हरे राम हरे हरे कृष्ण
Hare Ram, Hare
Hare
Ram,
Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama Rama
Hare
Hare
Krishna,
Hare
Krishna
Krishna Hare
Krishna,
Krishna
Hare
Krishna
Hare,
Krishna Hare Hare
Hare
Rama Rama
Ram,
Hare
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 Ram, Ram
Hare
Ram,
Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Hare Krishna Krishna
Hare
Hare
Ram,
Hare
Hare Ram, Ram Ram,
Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama
Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare,
Hare
Krishna,
Krishna Krishna Hare Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare
Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Krishna,
Hare
Hare
Krishna 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 Hare Hare Rama Rama
Hare
Rama Hare
Ram, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare
Hare Rama Hare Rama
Hare,
Rama Rama Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare Hare Rama Hare Rama Rama Hare Hare
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna,
Hare Krishna
Hare
Krishna
Hare Ram, Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram,
Hare
Ram.
Krishna Krishna Hare Rama
Hare
Rama
Krishna,
Hare 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 Krishna
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 Krishna,
Hare
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 Hare,
Rama Rama
Hare
Hare
Ram,
Hare
Hare Ram.
कृष्ण कृष्ण राम 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 हरे हरे कृष्ण हरे कृष्ण
हरे
कृष्ण
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 हरे
कृष्ण
हरे
हरे
राम
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 हरे
हरे
राम राम राम
हरे
हरे
कृष्ण
हरे
कृष्ण
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 हरे
कृष्ण
कृष्ण कृष्ण
हरे
कृष्ण
हरे
हरे राम 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 हरे हरे
राम हरे 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 कृष्ण 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 हरे हरे राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्ण 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 राम 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 हरे हरे कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे राम 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 हरे हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे
हरे
हरे हरे
कृष्ण
कृष्ण कृष्ण कृष्ण
हरे
हरे
राम
हरे
राम
राम
हरे
हरे
हरे हरे
हरे
कृष्ण
कृष्ण कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्ण 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 हरे राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्ण 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 राम 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 हरे हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे राम राम हरे 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 कृष्ण 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 हरे कृष्ण 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्ण कृष्ण राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्ण कृष्ण कृष्ण
राम राम
हरे कृष्ण हरे कृष्ण हरे कृष्ण राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्ण 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 हरे राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्ण हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे हरे
हरे कृष्ण हरे
हरे
कृष्ण
कृष्ण हरे
हरे
कृष्ण कृष्ण कृष्ण
राम
हरे
हरे राम 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 हरे हरे
हरे
कृष्ण
कृष्ण कृष्ण कृष्ण
हरे
हरे
राम
हरे
हरे राम 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 हरे हरे हरे
हरे
कृष्ण
हरे कृष्ण कृष्ण कृष्ण
हरे
हरे
राम
हरे
राम
हरे
राम
राम
हरे
राम
हरे हरे
राम
कृष्ण
हरे
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 कृष्ण
हरे
कृष्ण
कृष्ण
हरे
कृष्ण कृष्ण
हरे
कृष्ण
राम
हरे
राम राम हरे हरे कृष्ण हरे कृष्ण हरे राम 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 हरे हरे
हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे हरे राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम राम हरे 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 कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम राम हरे 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 कृष्ण हरे कृष्ण कृष्ण राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम राम हरे हरे
कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे
राम हरे
कृष्ण 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 हरे
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 कृष्ण
हरे
हरे
राम
राम हरे हरे कृष्ण हरे राम राम हरे 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 कृष्ण हरे राम हरे हरे कृष्ण हरे राम हरे हरे कृष्ण हरे राम हरे हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे कृष्ण हरे राम हरे कृष्ण हरे कृष्ण हरे राम हरे हरे कृष्ण हरे कृष्ण हरे राम हरे कृष्ण हरे कृष्ण
Hare
हरे हरे
Rama, Hare
हरे कृष्ण हरे कृष्ण हरे राम हरे कृष्ण हरे कृष्ण हरे कृष्ण हरे राम हरे कृष्ण हरे कृष्ण हरे राम हरे कृष्ण हरे राम हरे कृष्ण हरे
कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे 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 राम हरे हरे कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे हरे राम हरे हरे कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे राम राम हरे 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 कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे 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 राम हरे हरे कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे राम हरे 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 कृष्ण 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 हरे Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Hare,
Hare Krishna, Giriraj
Hare
Prabhu.
Krishna,
Namaskar.
Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram,
Yes,
Hare
Prabhu,
Hare,
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji and Mataji. And all pranams. All glory to Srila Prabhupada and Gurudev. Just a second, Prabhu. 1 second. Is it audible, right? Clear, no?
Yes, Prabhuji. Now you're right.
Yes, yes. Thank you, Prabhu. Just a minute. Okay. So, anybody likes to read this? This is from Sri Namamrita by Srila Prabhupada books. From the Srila Prabhupada books. This one. Today I have highlighted this one. Please read. Anybody?
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. One should not think that because the holy name of Krishna can nullify sinful activities, one may commit a little sinful activity and chant Hare Krishna to nullify it. This is the greatest offense. Namno balad yasya hi papa buddhi. The members of some religious orders go to church and confess their sins, but then they again commit the same sinful activities. What then is the value of their confession? One may confess, my Lord, out of my ignorance, I committed this sin. But one should not plan. I shall commit sinful activities and then go to church and confess them. And then the sins will be nullified. And I can begin a new chapter of sinful life. Similarly, one should not knowingly take advantage of the chanting of the Hare Krishna mantra to nullify sinful activities so that one may then begin the sinful acts again. We should be very careful. Before taking initiation, one promises to have no illicit sex, no intoxicants, no gambling, and no meat eating. And this vow one should strictly follow. Then one will be clean. If one keeps oneself clean in this way and always engages in devotional service, his life will be a success. Teachings of Queen Kunti.
Yeah. One of the offenses we have, right, Prabhu? One of the offenses we have on this. Let me share quickly, 1 second. So this is from teachings of Queen Kunti. Yeah. To consider the glories of chanting Hare Krishna on the strength of the holy names. See, 7th one. To commit sinful activities on the strength of the holy names. In connection with that, Srila Prabhupada's purport in that small book, Teachings of Queen Kunti. See, this is a process happily executed, but along way, we have to be very careful following the 4 regulative principles. Right? 4 regulative principles. That are the strength to progress in spiritual life. If we sincerely practice following the 4 regulative principles, no meat eating, no intoxication, no illicit sex, and no gambling, that itself gives a lot of strength to to progress in our spiritual life. That's where Srila Prabhupada writes in this teachings of Queen Kunti. Again, committing sinful and again doing and Harinam is going to nullify. That's the greatest blunder. Of course, we commit mistakes, but you have to rectify. And next time onwards, we have to be more careful onwards. Anything I want to add, Lalit Mohan Prabhu, by reading this? Just 1 minute, if you are half minute, you can say something. Then we'll go to readings.
Prabhuji, while actually taking this, what is the sentences now? Yeah, we should really understand what the expectations from acharyas are.
Correct.
But at the same time, we have our own shortcomings. So by reading this, we should not get depressed. Arey, mere to nahi ho sakta.
Yes, yes.
I am completely depressed. So at the same time, yeah, that wo to diya hai, means acharyas and this process has given us that what you say, flexibility. Yes, everyone is like that, not only you, but still, let us stick to the process and do it. And this is the expectations from our acharyas. And if you do it like this, you will certainly progress.
Yes.
Because as you progress, Prabhuji, a lot of shortcomings will be known to you.
Definitely.
And keep up to that expectations of acharyas and become depressed. So that is the not mood, and that is not the mood why they have given this. But they always remember us where we should stand and where we are. That's
correct. Yes, Prabhu, that's true. See, that's a nature, right? To commit, see, that is the one of the defect of our human beings. To err is human there, right? To commit mistakes, but we have to rectify. I mean, that's what we have to work on. Be careful about it. That's where our progression depends, Prabhu, right? But no need to be discouraged. These are the principles. But it's their mercy if we sincerely practice and if we try to obey the instructions of spiritual master, these vows, Krishna is going to be bless us, definitely. These are the austerities, right? No meeting, no intoxication. These are the austerities. Tapasya. It's not easy. We have to be diligently practice. Yes. With Mangala channel praise, let us begin. Thank you for adding, Prabhu. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Ajnanatimirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Namo Om Vishnupadaya Krishna Prashtaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swami Niti Namine. Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Srivasa Digaura Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. So we are reading from Srimad Bhagavad Gita 9th chapter. 9th chapter entitled is a beautiful chapter actually. Actually every day we have to read this chapter. This is the translations. The most confidential knowledge, Raja Vidya. Yeah. Madhais, please begin with yourselves. Deepa Madhai.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, Dandavat Pranam. Just one second. Nine 9.6, right?
Yes.
Translation and purport by Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Understand that as the mighty wind blowing everywhere rests always in the sky, all created beings rest in me. Purport. For the ordinary person, it is almost inconceivable how the huge material creation. But the Lord is giving an example which may help us to understand. The sky may be the biggest manifestation we can conceive. And in that sky, the wind or air is the biggest manifestation in the cosmic world. The movement of the air influences the movements of everything. But although the wind is great, it is still situated within the sky. The wind is not beyond the sky. Similarly, all the wonderful cosmic manifestations are existing by the supreme will of God, and all of them are subordinate to that supreme will. As we generally say, not a blade of grass moves without the will of the supreme personality of Godhead. Thus, everything is moving under his will. By his will, everything is being created, everything is being maintained, and everything is being annihilated. Still, he is aloof from everything, as the sky is always aloof from the activities of the wind. In the Upanishads, it is stated, Yadbhisha Vata Pavate. It is out of the fear of the Supreme Lord that the wind is blowing. Taittiriya Upanishad 2.8.1. In the Brihadaranyaka Upanishad 3.8.9, it is stated, Etasya va aksharasya prashasane gargi surya chandramasau vidritao tishtata etasya va aksharasya prashasane gargi dyava prithvyau vidritao tishtata. By the supreme order, under the superintendence of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, the moon, the sun, and the other great planets are moving. In the Brahma Samhita 5.52, also it is stated, Yachakshuresha savita sakala grahanam raja samasta suramurtirashesha teja yasyagya ya Ramati Samhrita Kala Chakro Govindamadi Purusham Tamaham Bhajami. This is a description of the movement of the sun. It is said that the sun is considered to be one of the eyes of the Supreme Lord and that It has immense potency to diffuse heat and light. Still, it is moving in its prescribed orbit by the order and the supreme will of Govinda. So from the Vedic literature, we can find evidence that this material manifestation, which appears to us to be very wonderful and great, is under the complete control of Supreme Personality of Godhead. This will be further explained in the later verses of this chapter. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Mataji. Yeah, Samyukta Mataji, please.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji. Translation and purport by Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Translation. O son of Kunti, at the end of the millennium, all material manifestations enter into my nature, and at the beginning of another millennium, by my potency, I create them again. Purport. The creation, maintenance, and annihilation of this material cosmic manifestation are completely dependent on the supreme will of the personality of Godhead. At the end of the millennium means at the death of Brahma. Brahma lives for 100 years and his one day is calculated at 43 millions of our earthly years.
4 billion, 300 trillion years.
Of our earthly years. His night is of the same duration. His month consists of 30 such days and nights, and his year of 12 months. After 100 such years, when Brahma dies, the devastation or annihilation takes place. This means that the energy manifested by the Supreme Lord is again wound up in himself. Then again, when there is a need to manifest the cosmic world, it is done by his will. Bahushyam. Although I am one, I shall become many. This is the Vedic aphorism, Chandogya Upanishad 6.2.3. He expands himself in this material energy and the whole cosmic manifestation again takes place. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Mataji. Hare Krishna. Sandhya Mataji.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji. Translation and purport by Srila Prabhupada ki jai. The whole cosmic order is under me, under my will, it is automatically manifested again and again. Under my will, it is annihilated at the end. Purport. This material world is the manifestation of the inferior energy of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. This has already been explained several times. At the creation, the material energy is explained several times. At the creation, the material energy is let loose as the Mahat Tattva, into which the Lord as his first Purusha incarnation, Mahavishnu, enters. He lies within the causal ocean and breathes out in innumerable universes, and into each universe, the Lord again enters as Garbhodaka Sai Vishnu. Each universe is in that way created. He still further manifests himself as Kshirodaka Sai Vishnu, and that Vishnu enters into everything, even into the minute atom. This fact is explained here. He enters into everything. Now, as far as the living entities are concerned, they are impregnated into this material nature, and as a result of their past deeds, they take different positions. Thus, the activities of this material world begin. The activities of the different species of living beings are begin from the very moment of the creation. It is not that all is evolved. The different species of life are created immediately along with the universe. Men, animals, beasts, birds, everything is simultaneously created, because whatever desires the living entities had at the last annihilation are again manifested. It is clearly indicated here by the word avasham, that the living entities have nothing to do with this process. The state of being in their past life, in the past creation, is simply manifested again. And all this is done simply by his will. This is the inconceivable potency of the Supreme Personality of God. And after creating different species of life, he has no connection with them. The creation takes place to accommodate the inclination of the various living entities. And so the Lord does not become involved with it.
Hare Krishna. Thank you.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Lalit Mohan Prabhu, please read.
Translation. O Dhananjaya, all this work cannot bind me. I am ever detached from all these material activities, seated as though neutral. Purport. One should not think in this connection that the Supreme Personality of Godhead has no engagement. In his spiritual world, he is always engaged. In Brahma Samhita 5.6, it is stated, Atma Ramasya tasyati prakritya na samadamah. He is always involved in his eternal, blissful, spiritual activities, but he has nothing to do with these material activities. Material activities are carried on by his different potencies. The Lord is always neutral in the material activities of the created world. This neutrality is mentioned here with the word Udasinavat. Although he has control over every minute detail of material activities, he is sitting as if neutral. The example can be given of a high court judge sitting on his bench. By his order, so many things are happening. Someone is being hanged, someone is being put into jail, someone is awarded a huge amount of wealth, but still he is neutral. He has nothing to do with all that gain and loss. Similarly, the Lord is always neutral, although he has his hand in every sphere of activity. In the Vedanta Sutra 2.1.34, it is stated Vaishamya Nairgrihneya Grihanyeya Vaishamya Naigrihnyeya. It is not situated in the dualities of, he is not situated in the dualities of this material world. He is transcendental to these dualities, nor is he attached to the creation and annihilation of this material world. The living entity takes their different forms in various species of life according to their past deeds, and the Lord doesn't interfere with them. Thank you, Prabhuji.
Thank you, Prabhu. Thank you. One of the important words. Mayadhyakshena prakriti suyate sacharacharam hetuna nena kaunteya jagadvi parivartate. Yes. Raju Prabhu, are you there? You want to read? Okay.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji.
Yeah, read, Prabhu.
Translation. This material nature, which is one of my energies, is working under my direction, O son of Kunti, producing all moving, non-moving beings. Under its rule, this manifestation is created and annihilated again and again. Purport. It is clearly stated here that Supreme Lord, although aloof from all the activities of material world, remains the Supreme Director. The Supreme Lord is the Supreme will and the background of his material manifestation, but the management is conducted by the material nature. Krishna is also states in Bhagavad Gita that all the living entities in different forms and species, I am the Father. The Father gives seeds to the womb of mother of the child, and similarly the Supreme Lord is Lord by his mere glance injects all the living entities into the womb of material nature, and they come out of their different forms and species according to their last desires and activities. All the living entities, although born under the glance of Supreme Lord, take their different bodies according to their past deeds and desires. So the Lord is not directly attached to the material creation. He simply glances over material nature. Material nature is thus activated, and everything is created immediately because he glances over material nature. There is undoubtedly activity on the part of the Supreme Lord, but he has nothing to do with the manifestation of the material world directly. This example is given in the Smriti. When there is a fragment flower before someone, the fragrance is touched by the smelling power by the person, and the smelling and the flower are detached from one another. There is a similar connection between the material world and Supreme Personality of Godhead. Actually, he has nothing to do with this material world, but he creates by his glance and audience. In summary, material nature without the superintendent of Supreme Personality of Godhead cannot do anything. Yet the Supreme Personality is detached from all material activities. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna. So he is our eternal Father, seed-giving Father. Aham bija pradapitaha. Yeah. Chandraman Prabhu, please read.
Hare Krishna. Translation and purport by Srila Prabhupada ki Jai. Fools deride me when I descend in the human form. They do not know my transcendental nature as the Supreme Lord of all that be. Purport. From the other explanations of the previous verses in this chapter, it is clear that the Supreme Personality of Godhead although appearing like a human being, is not a common man. The personality of Godhead, who conducts the creation, maintenance, and annihilation of the complete cosmic manifestation, cannot be a human being. Yet there are many foolish men who consider Krishna to be merely a powerful man and nothing more. Actually, he is the original supreme personality, as is confirmed in the Brahma Samhita. Ishvara Parama Krishna, he is the supreme Lord. There are many Ishwaras, controllers, and one appears greater than another. In the ordinary management of affairs in the material world, we find some official or director, and above him there is a secretary, and above him a minister, and above him a president. Each of them is a controller, but one is controlled by another. In the Brahma Samhita, it is said that Krishna is the supreme controller. There are many controllers, undoubtedly, both in the material and spiritual world. But Krishna is the supreme controller, Ishvara Parama Krishna, and his body is Sachidananda, non-material. Material bodies cannot perform the wonderful acts described in the previous verses. His body is eternal, blissful, and full of knowledge. Although he is not a common man, the foolish deride him and consider him to be a man. His body is called here Manushim, because he is acting just like a man, a friend of Arjuna's, a politician involved in the battle of Kurukshetra. In so many ways, he is acting just like an ordinary man, but actually his body is Sachidananda Vigraha, eternal bliss and knowledge absolute. This is confirmed in the Vedic language also. Sachidananda Rupaya Krishnaya. I offer my obeisances unto the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Krishna, who is the eternal bliss from a form of blissful form of knowledge. Gopala Tapani Upanishad. There are other descriptions in the Vedic language also. Tam ekam Govindam. You are Govinda, the pleasure of the senses and the cows. Sachidananda Vigraham. And your form is transcendental, full of knowledge, bliss and eternally. Gopala Tapani Upanishad 1.38. Shall I continue, Prabhu?
Let us give it to
Yeah, no problem.
Thank you very much for reading.
Hare Krishna.
Akinchan Prabhu.
Hare Krishna. Despite the transcendental qualities of the Lord Krishna's body, its full bliss and knowledge, there are many so-called scholars and commentators of the Bhagavad Gita who deride Krishna as an ordinary man. The scholar may be born an extraordinary man due to his previous good work, but this conception of Sri Krishna is due to the poor fund of knowledge. Therefore, he is called Buddha. For only foolish persons consider Krishna to be the ordinary human beings. The foolish consider Krishna an ordinary human being because they do not know the confidential activities of Supreme Lord and his different energies. They do not know that Krishna's body is symbol of complete knowledge and bliss, and he is the proprietor of everything that be, and that he can award liberation to anyone. Because they do not know that Krishna has so many transcendental qualifications, they deride him. Nor do they know that appearance of Supreme Personality of Godhead in this material world is a manifestation of his internal energy. He is the master of material energy, as has been explained in several places. Mama Maya Duratraya. He claims that material energy, although very powerful, is under his control, and whoever surrenders unto him can get out of the control of material energy. If a soul surrendered to the Krishna can get out of the influence of material energy, then how can a Supreme Lord who conducts the creation, maintenance, and annihilation of the whole cosmic nature have a material body like us? So this conception of Krishna is complete foolishness. Foolish persons, however, cannot conceive that the personality of Godhead Krishna, appearing just like a ordinary man, can be controller of all the atoms and of the gigantic manifestation of universal form. The biggest and mightiest are beyond their conception. So they cannot imagine that a form like that of human being can simultaneously control the infinite and the minute. Actually, although he is controlling the infinite and finite, he is a part of all these manifestations. It is clearly stated concerning his yogam Aishwaryam. He is inconceivable transcendental energy that he can control the infinite and finite simultaneously, and that he can remain aloof from them. Although the foolish cannot imagine how Krishna, who appears just like a human being, can control the infinite and finite. Those who are pure devotees accept this, for they know that the Krishna is the supreme personality of Godhead. Therefore, they completely surrender unto him and engage in Krishna consciousness devotional service of the Lord.
Thank you, Prabhu.
Thank you.
We are limited. Krishna is unlimited. That's simple. So we cannot understand inconceivable potency of the Supreme Lord. But pure devotees can be able to understand with the Krishna's mercy only. That's why they become pure devotees, always engaging Krishna's service. So he is going to reveal inconceivable potency of the Lord. Yeah. Lavanya, you want to read?
Yeah, Hare Krishna. There are many controversies between the impersonalist and the personalist about the Lord's appearance as a human being. But if we consult Bhagavad Gita and Srimad Bhagavatam, the authoritative text for understanding the science of Krishna, then we can understand that Krishna is the supreme personality of Godhead. He is not an ordinary man, although he appeared on this earth as an ordinary human being. In the Srimad Bhagavatam, first canto, first chapter, when the sages headed by Shaunaka inquired about the activities of Krishna, they said, Kritavan kila karmani saharamena keshava atimartyani bhagavan buddha kapata manusha. Lord Sri Krishna, the supreme personality of Godhead, along with Balarama, played like a human being, and so masked he performed many superhuman acts. Bhagavatam 1.1.20. The Lord's appearance as a man bewilders the foolish. No human being could perform the wonderful act that Krishna performed while he was present on this earth. When Krishna appeared before his father and mother, Vasudeva and Devaki, he appeared with 4 hands. But after the prayers of the parents, he transformed himself into an ordinary child. As stated in the Bhagavatam 10.3.46, Babuva Praktra Shishu. He became just like an ordinary child, an ordinary human being. Now here again it is indicated that the Lord's appearance as an ordinary human being is one of the features of his transcendental body. In the 11th chapter of Bhagavad Gita, also it is stated that Arjuna prayed to see Krishna's form as 4 hands, Tenaiva Rupena Chaturbhujena. After revealing this form, Krishna, when petitioned by Arjuna, again assumed his original human-like form, Manusha Rupam. These different features of the Supreme Lord are certainly not those of an ordinary human being.
Continue. Read this.
Some of those who derive Krishna and who are infected with the Mayavada philosophy quote the following verse from the Srimad Bhagavatam 3.29.21 to prove that Krishna is just an ordinary man. Aham sarveshu bhuteshu bhutatmavastitata sada. The Supreme is present in every living entity. We should better take note of this particular verse from the Vaishnava Acharyas like Jiva Goswami and Vishwanath Chakravarti Tagore, instead of following the interpretations of unauthorized persons who deride Krishna. Jiva Goswami, commenting on this verse, says that in his plenary expansions as Paramatma, he is situated in the moving and non-moving entities as the Supersoul. So, any neophyte devotee who simply gives his attention to the Archamurti in the form of the Supreme Lord in the temple and does not respect other living entities is uselessly worshipping the form of the Lord in the temple. There are 3 kinds of devotees of the Lord. and the neophyte is the lowest stage. The neophyte devotee gives more attention to the deity in the temple than to other devotees. So Vishwanath Chakravarti Tagore was that this sort of mentality should be corrected. A devotee should see that because Krishna is present in everyone's heart as Paramatma, everybody is the embodiment or the temple of the Supreme Lord. So, as one offers respect to the temple of the Lord, he should similarly properly respect each and everybody in which the Paramatma dwells.
Everybody.
Every body in which the Paramatma dwells. Everyone should therefore be given proper respect and should not be neglected.
Let me read last and we'll conclude. There are also many impersonalists who deride temple worship. They say that since God is everywhere, why should one restrict himself to temple worship? But if God is everywhere, is he not in the temple or in the deity? Although the personalist and the impersonalist will fight with one another perpetually. A perfect devotee in Krishna consciousness knows that although Krishna is the Supreme Personality, he is all pervading, as confirmed in the Brahma Samhita. Although his personal abode is Golaka Vrindavana, and he is always staying there. By his different manifestations of energy and by his plenary expansion, he is present everywhere in all parts of the material and spiritual creation. It's a big purport. Touched all, proved that Supreme Personality of God, it's transcendental nature, my transcendental nature. So when this is the Acharya's mercy, he completely explained about the transcendental nature of the Supreme Lord in this purport. Yeah, thank you so much again, Prabhuji and Matas, for reading today. Let us practice NOD Slokas.
Prabhuji, చిన్న డౌట్ ప్రభుజీ. కొన్ని ప్రపదలు కొన్నిసార్లు ఏమో కృష్ణనేమో అన్ని మెటీరియల్ బాడీస్ లో ఉండరు, బట్ ఎవ్రీథింగ్ బిలాంగ్స్ టు హిమ్ ఓన్లీ అంటారు. మళ్ళీ కొన్నిసార్లు ఏమో ఇన్ ఈచ్ అండ్ ఎవ్రీ లివింగ్ ఎంటిటీలో కూడా ఉంటారంటారు. సో హౌ ఎగ్జాక్ట్లీ వీ హ్యావ్ టు అండర్స్టాండ్ ప్రభుజీ?
With the literature only, with the, let me see here only, I'll tell you. Everywhere. See, everything comes from him. You got the point, right? Everything. Everything, material, spiritual, moving, non-moving, comes from him. There is no question outside of him, right?
Correct.
You got faith, right, for that statement?
Yeah, 100%.
Yes. So here, I'll let you know. ఇక్కడే ఒక శ్లోకం ఉంది మధ్యలో.
లాస్ట్ పారాగ్రాఫ్ లో ఉంది కదా ప్రభుజీ, మళ్ళీ ఈచ్ అండ్ ఎవ్రీ లివింగ్ ఎంటిటీ.
He's always staying there in his different manifestations of energy. By his plenary expansion, he is present everywhere
in all parts
of the material and spiritual creation. Yes, he is there. He is every question ఏమన్నారు? నేను ఇక్కడ ఒకటి చూస్తున్నాను.
క్వశ్చన్ ఏంటంటే ప్రభుజీ, ఒకసారేమో ఈ ఆల్ లివింగ్ ఎంటిటీస్, నాన్ లివింగ్ ఎంటిటీస్ అన్ని నాలోనే ఉంటాయి, నేను వాటిలో లేను అంటారు ఒక శ్లోకంలో భగవద్గీతలో. కానీ కొన్ని చోట్లనేమో
ఎవ్రీథింగ్ కమ్స్ ఫ్రమ్ హిమ్.
ఎవ్రీథింగ్ కమ్స్ ఫ్రమ్ హిమ్, దట్ ఈస్ ఓకే. ఐ విల్ బి దేర్ ఇన్ ఈచ్ అండ్ ఎవ్రీ లివింగ్ ఎంటిటీ అంటారు అనమాట. అండ్
aloof from him అంటే aloof from అక్కడికి మళ్ళీ ఇఫ్ వి వాంట్ టు నో వై అగైన్ ఎక్కడికి వస్తుంది అంటే మళ్ళీ వై వి కమ్ టు దిస్ మెటీరియల్ ప్లానెట్, మెటీరియల్ వరల్డ్. కృష్ణ నెవర్ ఇంటర్ఫియర్ అవర్ ఫ్రీ విల్. We wanted to enjoy just like Krishna. We wanted to enjoy supreme, we wanted to enjoy like controller, proprietor, enjoyership. That's why we come from spiritual world, just like to enjoy similarly. But it's not possible here. After we realize, then that's the thing. So yeah, aloof in the sense of see you in the spiritual world, we are all, once upon a time we were all servants, but somehow that tendency came.
Because of free will only we came here.
Yeah, there also the misuse of free will. That's where we frequently say the misuse of free will. Somehow we got that tendency, even though when we were in spiritual world, we come to this material world. You won't interfere our free will. Aloof from the spiritual, aloof from material world means aloof from. He has created this material world. Of course, he is there everywhere. Aloof from means he won't interfere the free will of living entity. Either use it for service of the Lord or use it for your own sense gratification and continually, perpetually rolling in this material cycle of birth and death. That's one way of understanding. Anybody? Subbarao Prabhu? Lalit Mohan Prabhu? Please share or add.
Only one thing, like, I will be in that and I will not be in that. That's what his question is actually, if I understand properly.
Yes, Prabhuji, you are right.
Yeah, actually, Prabhuji, he is inactive when he is in us. As a, the second bird which is seeing, he will not interfere, Prabhuji. That is what it means by not being in it. And the other thing is like the material or the spiritual, both are his parts only. That is what being in it means. And actually, some, what is a Maharajas or some preachers, they say this is actually linked to the Achintya Bhedabhed Tattva, means simultaneously and the one, not the one also. So that is not what is a, we cannot understand with our own mind and all, Prabhuji, but that is how it is. When he says he is not in us, it means that he will never interfere in our free will or the activities of our mind. And when he says he is in us, yes, as a Paramatma, he will guide when we turn to him.
When
we turn towards him.
Okay. So if you are turning to him, then he will be there. And if you are not turning to him, then he will not be there.
He'll never interfere. Never
he will not interfere. Yeah.
Okay.
Never interfere. He is there.
Yeah. Finally, he is there in each and every living entity.
Not only living entity, art, moving and non-moving.
Yeah. Okay.
Subbarao Prabhu.
Krishna Prabhu. Another Pranam Prabhu.
Another Pranam Prabhu.
Hare Rama. It's nice to hear Lalit Mohan Prabhu. Yes, Prabhu. So what he said, what you said is in what my thinking is also, Prabhu. He's there. Means he's there but not interfering it with our free will basically. But he's there to guide our free will only when we let that free will be towards him basically. When we turn towards him. Yeah. But without him, there is our existence, everything depends on him only. But at the same time, if his interference in our free will is nothing, basically. Right, Prabhu? Is that right, my understanding, Prabhu? Lalit Mohan Prabhu?
Yes, Prabhuji. Perfect.
He doesn't last either, Prabhu. We never know. Chandraman Prabhu, he doesn't.
Although he is controlling the infinite and the finite, he is apart from all his manifestation. It is clearly stated concerning his Yogam Aishwaram, his unconceivable transcendental energy, that he can control the infinite and finite simultaneously, and that he can remain aloof from them. Although the foolish cannot imagine how Krishna, who appears just like a human being, can control the infinite and the finite, those who are pure devotee accept this, for they know that Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Therefore, they completely surrender unto him and engage in Krishna consciousness, devotional service of the Lord.
See, one thing, just by reading this, one point, Prabhu. See, our senses are limited, right? Krishna's unlimited. With limited senses, we are trying to understand unlimited personality.
Yeah, correct.
We never ever, that's why only through the Vaishnava Acharyas and through the Gurus, from their realizations, we get to know the Krishna is the purity. Here only, those who are pure devotees accept this inconceivable potency of the Lord, for they know that Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Therefore, they completely surrender. So that's the thing, Prabhu. You got the multiple answers. Next time, whenever you get this, whenever you see aloof from it, you have to explain now. Okay.
Yeah.
ఇది ఒకటి ఎగ్జాంపుల్ కూడా చెప్తారు. అంటే లైక్ మన ఇంట్లో సన్ వస్తుంది కదా ప్రభుజీ, ఎండ పడుతూ ఉంటది అన్నిటి మీద, వస్తువుల మీద. సన్ రేస్ కానీ సన్ పడినప్పుడు మనము లైక్ సన్ వచ్చింది అని అంటాం. యాక్చువల్ గా సన్ గ్లోబ్ లోనే ఉంటారు సన్ గాడ్. కానీ మనకు ఆయన ఎనర్జీ వచ్చింది, కానీ ఆయన డైరెక్ట్ గా రాలే కదా. కానీ ఇదంతా సన్ తో నిండిపోతుంది, లైక్ ఈజ్ ఎనర్జీ. అట్లే కృష్ణుడు ఎప్పుడు తన లోకంలో లైక్ గోలోక బృందావనంలో ద సుప్రీం పర్సనాలిటీ అక్కడే ఉంటారు. కానీ ఆయన ఎనర్జీస్, ఆయన పొటెన్సీస్ తోనే మొత్తం ఈ సృష్టి అంతా నడుస్తూ ఉంటది. అది
కరెక్ట్ యోగ ఐశ్వరం. దట్స్ కాల్డ్ యోగం ఐశ్వరం, ఇన్కన్సీవబుల్ ట్రాన్స్జెండల్ ఎనర్జీ. సన్ షైన్, సన్ గాడ్, sun planet. 3 ways of understanding. That is also there. That's thank you for.
Actually, here we are not denying, Prabhuji. We are just trying to
let us read this.
Better understanding.
Yes, that's a good question. But our senses are defeat us. Like, how can it's possible? How can it's possible? Sometimes he is saying he's aloof from him, and somewhere he is saying he's there everywhere. That's where that's where Maya, that's where our mind tricks us, bro. Simple. We have to surrender. Simple thing is just put our minds, submit under one proper guru, authorized guru. Then you get it.
Lavanya Mataji best example చెప్పారు, ఇంకా లైఫ్ లో గుర్తుండిపోతుంది.
Yes.
Thank you Mataji.
Yes, next time you only have to explain. Whenever you see aloof, I'll ask you.
Yeah. I will explain this sun example. Sun
Thank you so much again, Subbarao Prabhu, Laitma Prabhu, for adding. Lavanya. Who is going to do this? I'll just follow them. Anybody likes to?
I'll do today.
Yeah.
Only shlokas and translation or one time?
Two times, two times, 4 times. Then I will, anybody likes to do translation, then we all repeat.
Okay.
Anybody, translation?
I'll do, Prabhu.
Yes,
translation part, shloka parts and rest.
Yes. Yes, Jay, Lavanya, yes, thank you.
Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu 1.1.11. Anyabhilashitaa shunyam. జ్ఞాన కర్మాది అనావృతం అనుకూల్యేన కృష్ణాను శీలనం భక్తిరుత్తమా అన్యాభిలాషితా శూన్యం జ్ఞాన కర్మాది అనావృతం అనుకూల్యేన కృష్ణాను శీలనం భక్తిరుత్తమా అన్యాభిలాషితా శూన్యం జ్ఞాన కర్మాది అనావృతం అనుకూలేన కృష్ణానో శీలనం భక్తిరుత్తమా
First class devotional service develops.
When first class devotional service develops,
one must be devoid of all material desires.
One must be
devoid of all material desires.
Knowledge obtained by monistic philosophy and fruitive action.
Knowledge obtained by monistic philosophy and fruitive action.
The devotee must constantly serve Krishna favorably as Krishna desires.
The devotee
must constantly serve Krishna favorably as Krishna desires.
Yeah.
Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu 1.1.12. Sarvopadi vinirmuktam.
Sarvopadi
vinirmuktam. Tatparatvena nirmalam. Rishikena rishikesha. सेवनं भक्तिरुच्यते सर्वोपाधिविनिर्मुक्तं तत्परत्वेन निर्मलम् ऋषिकेना ऋषिकेशा सेवनं भक्तिरुच्यते सर्वोपाधिविनिर्मुक्तं तत्परत्वेन निर्मलम् ऋषिकेना ऋषिकेशा सेवनं भक्तिरुच्यते
सर्वोपाधिविनिर्मुक्तं तत्परत्वेन निर्मलं ऋषिकेन ऋषिकेशा सेवनं भक्तिरुच्यते
Bhakti or devotional service
Bhakti or devotional service
means engaging all our senses in the service of the Lord.
means engaging all our senses in the service of the Lord.
The Supreme Personality of the the Supreme Personality of Godhead, the master of all the senses.
The Supreme
Personality of Godhead, the master of all the senses.
When the spirit soul renders service unto the Supreme, there are two side effects.
The spirit soul renders service unto the Supreme. There are two side effects.
One is freed from all material designations.
One is free from all material designations.
And simply by employed in the service of the Lord, one's senses are purified.
And simply by being employed in the service of the Lord, one's senses are purified.
Thank you, yeah.
Bhakti Rasamrit Sindhu 1.2.234. Ata Sri Krishna Namadi Nabhavet Grahama Indriyai Sevonmuke hi jihvadau Swayam eva spuratyadaha Ata Sri Krishna Namadi Nabhavet Grahyam Indriyai
Ata Sri Krishna
Sevonmuke hi jihvadau Swayam eva spuratyadaha Ata Sri Krishna Namadi Nabhavet Grahyam Indriyai Sevonmuke hi jihvadau Swayam eva spuratyadaha
Ata Sri
Krishna Namadi Nabhavet Grahyam Indriyai Sevonmuke hi jihvadau Swayam eva spuratyadaha.
Because Krishna's form, qualities, pastime, etc. are on
Because-
platform. Sorry, Prabhu. Let me repeat. Because Krishna's form, qualities, pastime, etc. are all on the absolute platform.
Because
Krishna's form, qualities, pastime, etc. are
all on the absolute.
Material senses cannot therefore appreciate them.
Material senses
cannot therefore appreciate them.
When a conditioned soul is awakened to Krishna consciousness,
when a conditioned
soul is Krishna consciousness
and renders service by using his tongue to chant Lord's holy name,
and
renders service by using his tongue to chant the Lord's holy name,
and taste the remnants of Lord's food,
And taste the remnants of the Lord's
food,
the tongue is purified,
tongue is
purified,
and one gradually comes to understand who Krishna really is.
and
and gradually comes to understand who Krishna really is.
Bhakti Rasamrit Sindhu 1.2.255. Anasaktasya Vishayan Yatarham Yunjata Nirbandha Krishna Sambandhe Yuktam vairagyamuchyate.
Yuktam vairagyamuchyate.
Anasaktasya vishayan yatartham upayunjata.
Anasaktasya vishayan yatartham upayunjata.
Nirbandha Krishna sambandhe yuktam vairagyamuchyate.
Nirbandha Krishna sambandhe yuktam vairagyamuchyate.
Anasaktasya vishayan yatarham upayunjata. Nirbandha Krishna sambandhe yuktam vairagyamuchyate.
Anasaktasya vishayan yatarham upayunjata. Nirbandha Krishna sambandhe yuktam vairagyamuchyate.
When one is not attached to anything,
When one is not attached to anything,
but at the same time accepts anything in relation to Krishna,
but at the same time accepts anything in relation to Krishna,
one is rightly situated above possessiveness.
one is rightly situated above possessiveness.
Above possessiveness.
Hare Krishna.
Thank you very much, Prabhu. Thank you, Lavanya.
Hare Krishna.
Yes, now Slokam translation. Anybody? Let us spend a couple more minutes.
Can I do it, Prabhuji?
Yeah, please, Prabhu. Why not?
I should completely read the sloka once. That's it.
Sloka once, translation once.
Okay. Anyabhilashita sunyam jnana karma.
Sorry, Mire.
Will people repeat? No.
No.
Anyabhilashita shunyam jnana karmadhyanavritam anukulyena krishnanu shilanam bhaktiruttama. When the first class devotional service develops, one must be devoid of all material desires, knowledge obtained by the monistic philosophy, and fruitive action. The devotee must constantly serve Krishna favorably as Krishna desires. Sarvopadhi vinirmuktam tatparatvena nirmalam hrishikena hrishikesha sevanam bhaktiruchyate. Bhakti or devotional service means engaging all our senses in the service of the Lord, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, the master of all senses. When the spirit soul renders service unto the Supreme, there are two side effects. One is freed from all material designations, and simply by being employed in the service of the Lord, one's senses are purified. Atah Sri Krishna Namadi na bhavet grahyam indriyai sevonmuke hi jihvado swayam yeva spuratyadaha. Because Krishna's form, qualities, pastimes, etc. are all on the absolute platform, material senses cannot therefore appreciate them. When a conditioned soul is awakened to Krishna consciousness and renders service by using his tongue to chant the Lord's holy name and taste the remnants of the Lord's food, the tongue is purified and one gradually comes to understand who Krishna really is. Anasaktasya vishayan yatarham upayunjataha nirbandha Krishna sambandhe yuktam vairagyamuchyate. When one is not attached to anything, but at the same time accepts anything in relation to Krishna, one is rightly situated above the possessiveness. Hare Krishna.
Jai Prabhu. Thank you very much. Yes. One more devotee, then we'll wrap up.
Shall I read, Prabhu?
You are ready for Bhakti Shastri then?
Okay. You carry on, folks.
No. Do it. అట్లా మీరు నెక్స్ట్ బ్యాచ్ లో ఉన్నారు కదా మీరు మధ్యలో
నెక్స్ట్ బ్యాచ్ కి అప్లై ఫిక్స్ చేస్తారు.
అదే కదా, ఎవరైతే డిస్కంటిన్యూ అందరు మళ్ళీ నెక్స్ట్ బ్యాచ్ చేయండి ట్రై చేయండి.
అన్యాభిలాషిత శూన్యం జ్ఞాన కర్మాది అన్వర్తం అనుకూలేన కృష్ణాను శిలానాం భక్తిరుత్తమ. When first class devotional service develops, one must be devoid of all material desires, knowledge obtained by monistic philosophy and fruitive action. The devotee must constantly serve Krishna favorably as Krishna desires. Sarvopadi vinirmuktam tatparatvena nirmalam hushikesha sevanam bhaktir uchyate. Bhakti or devotional service means engaging all our senses in the service of the Lord, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, the Master of all the senses. When the spirit soul renders service unto the Supreme, there are two side effects. One is freed from all material designations, and simply by being employed in the service of the Lord, one's senses are purified. Atha Sri Krishna Namadi na bhaved grahyam indriyai sevonmuke hi jihvadu sarvam eva spurtati swayam eva krutati yadaha. Because Krishna's form, qualities, pastimes, etc. are all of the absolute platform. On the absolute platform, material senses cannot therefore appreciate them. When a conditioned soul is awakened to Krishna consciousness and renders service by using his tongue to chant the Lord's holy name and taste the remnants of his Lord's food, the tongue is purified and one gradually comes to understand who Krishna really is. Anasaktasya vishayan yadardam upayunjatah nirbandha Krishna sambandhe yuktam vairagyam uchyate. When one is not attached to anything, but at the same time accepts anything in relation to Krishna, one is rightly situated above pursueness. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you so much. Actually, Lalit Mohan Prabhu's tune. Huh?
Yeah, because of him only I could able to read.
Actually, Lalit Mohan Prabhu tune I want to do. Correct me, Lalit Mohan Prabhu. Let me try. Anyabhilashita shunyam jnana karmadi anavrutam anukulyena krishnanushilanam bhakti uttama. When first class devotional service develops, one must be devoid of all material desires. Knowledge obtained by monastic philosophy and fruitive action, the devotee must constantly serve Krishna favorably as Krishna desires. Sarvopadhi vinirmuktam tatparatvena nirmalam rishikena rishikesha sevanam bhakti ruchyate. Bhakti or devotional service means engaging all our senses in the service of the Lord, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, the master of all the senses. When the spirit soul renders service unto the Supreme, there are two side effects. One is freed from all material designations, and simply by being implied in the service of the Lord, one's senses purified. Atha Sri Krishna Namadi Nabhaved Grahyam Indriyai Sevonmuke hi jihvadau Swayam eva spuratyada. Because Krishna's form, qualities, pastimes, etc. are all on the absolute platform, material senses cannot therefore appreciate them. When a conditioned soul is awakened to Krishna consciousness and renders service by using his tongue to chant the Lord's holy name and taste the remnants of the Lord's food, tongue is purified and one gradually comes to understand who Krishna really is. Anasaktasya vishayan yatarham upayunjataha nirbandha Krishna sambandhe yuktam vairagyam uchyate. When one is not attached to anything, but at the same time accepts anything in relation to Krishna, one is rightly situated above possessiveness.
Prabhuji, initially it is like, Chaitanya Charan Prabhu is reading. And later on, the second part, it is like Bhakti Rasamrita Maharaj.
Nadi made mix it. It's okay. Krishna won't feel anything. Krishna likes
nothing like that. It's only that Chandas. This is Anushta Upachanda. That's it. It's only the tune is different. That's it.
Thank you so much.
కానీ ట్యూన్ బాగుంది ప్రభుజీ, ఎందుకంటే రోజంతా అది నడుస్తూ ఉంటుంది అలా బ్రెయిన్ లో. సో ఆ విధంగా గుర్తుంటా.
యా, మీరు నెక్స్ట్ టైం ఆయన ట్యూన్ పాడాలి.
నిన్న పాడాను ప్రభుజీ, నిన్న పాడాను.
పాడారా? ఓకే ఓకే.
మీకు ఇవాళ ఛాన్స్ ఇచ్చాను పాడడానికి.
కొన్ని మిక్స్ అవుతున్నాయి. నిర్బంధ కృష్ణ సంబంధే లైక్ దట్. Yes.
అసలు నేను మధ్యలో ఇంటర్ఫీర్ అయ్యాను ప్రభుజీ, లేకపోతే మీరు 100% పర్ఫెక్ట్ అయ్యేది.
ఇట్స్ ఓకే ప్రభు.
అండ్ చూడండి ఇవాళ రోజంతా మీ బ్రెయిన్ లో ఇదే నడుస్తుంది ఇంకా.
అవునా? ఎస్, మీరు మెడిటేషన్ ఆల్రెడీ స్టాంపింగ్ చేశారు కదా మరి చూద్దాం. ఎస్, థ్యాంక్ లలిత్ మోహన్ ప్రభుకి జై. ఎస్, అంటే అది టేక్స్ కొద్దిగా మనం స్పీడ్ కాకుండా కొంచెం టైం పట్టినా పాటలా గుర్తుంటది. దట్స్ ఆల్సో వన్ వే టు.
This is a singing, Prabhuji. Actually, in Vedic schools, na, here in Rajahmundry and all, what they do is they give one cow to every person, and they give some 8 to 9 slokas. So they do it by singing, Prabhuji, by not by reading. Actually, you know, that is how this 12,000 slokas has been remembered by small kids here.
That's nice. మీరు పట్టేసిండ్రు అది.
No, it's not like that, Prabhuji. A lot of, what is a practice also goes into this, na. Like we used to read the Bhagavatam together in our days and all, 5 to 6 years. Prabhu, it's not a one day this thing, Prabhuji. As you progress in your own life, you'll also get all these things. And this is a skill, this is not bhakti actually.
Correct. Sure. Thank you so much again. Yeah. Thank you so much again, Prabhuji Sanmatai, for reading and chanting, reading and sloka recitation. Let us meet on Monday. As weekends, we have different calls. So regular all group calls. So let us meet on Monday. And Monday onwards, let us do in the evenings also. Whoever likes to join in the evening. Only 1 week left. The 13 slokas we have to remember.
13 slokas we are going to do.
Yeah. Yes. Next week, let us do 13 slokas, Mataji. All the Bhakti Shastri Bhagavad Gita Unit 3 and in OD 4 slokas. Yeah. Thank you so much again. Dandavat pranam. Svancha kalpatarubhyascha. Kripa sindhu evacha patitanam pavanebhyo. Vaishnavebhyo namo namaha. Ananta koti Vaishnavvrinda ki jai. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Srimad Bhagavad Gita ki jai. Chaitanya Charitamrita ki jai. Bhagavatam ki jai. Extra of devotion ki jai. Instructions ki jai. Sri Vishwapanishad ki jai. Nitai Gaur Premanande. Hari Hari. Hare Krishna. Thank you very much.
Hare Krishna.